All right, welcome to this deep dive. You've brought us a really interesting stack of sources today, all focused on, well, some core challenges for online businesses, really.
Absolutely. Things like overcoming that sales resistance, getting potential clients persuaded, and crucially, building that sustainable recurring revenue. It's
Uh,
tough out there.
it really is. And the sources are quite varied. We've got stuff from business leaders like Russell Brunson and Myron Golden on closing techniques.
Mm-hmm. The fundamentals. And then Brunson again, this time with Darren Stevens on what they call hypnotic selling secrets,
Hmm.
which sounds intriguing.
Definitely. Then we pivot to Frank Miranda on strategies for, premium pricing charge it, what you're worth.
Yeah, avoiding the race to the bottom. And finally, Robert Scrobb focusing on growing subscription businesses, which is key for so many online models now.
It really is. So our mission here is basically to distill all of that, right? Pull out the most impactful strategies, maybe those aha moments you can actually use.
Yeah, give you a shortcut to understanding the psychology and the strategy behind successful online sales and subscriptions, ethical influence, smart pricing, long-term loyalty.
Think of it as unlocking that toolkit. So where do we start? Foundational principles.
Let's do that. Some core persuasion ideas that work across different scenarios, like, live events, webinars, even one-on-one.
Okay. One thing that really stood out was this idea of social compliance, getting small commitments first.
Yes, Russell Brunson talks a lot about this. He even mentions that documentary, The Push. The idea is get people making tiny micro-commitments early on.
Like asking people to pull out their phones or raise their hands.
Exactly. Or type something in the chat. Small things. It builds rapport. It gets them used to saying yes to you, even subconsciously.
So it leverages that human need for consistency.
Yeah.
Once you start saying yes, it's easier to keep saying yes.
Precisely. These little agreements make them more receptive when you eventually get to the bigger ask, the actual offer.
So the takeaway is, don't wait till the end to ask for something. Weave those tiny yes moments all the way through.
Yeah, build that momentum. And speaking of upfront moves, Brunson has another technique that sounds, well, kind of terrifying at first.
Which one's that?
The all my cards on the table, close. It means stating your goal, or sometimes even the really high price, right near the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like on slide 2, wouldn't that just scare people off immediately?
That's what you'd think, right? But he insists it works. He gave an example of a webinar for Funnel Builder, where he put the $20,000 price tag right up front.
Okay, why would that work?
It manages perception. By stating that high price early, you set a benchmark. Then, as you build value throughout the presentation and maybe reveal a lower, but still premium, price later.
It feels like a huge discount by comparison, even if the final price is still substantial.
Exactly. It frames the value proposition differently from the get-go. You control the price conversation instead of avoiding it.
Okay, that makes sense. So micro commitments to build momentum and maybe stating the big picture upfront strategically. Now, things get even more interesting, maybe a little controversial sounding. This hypnotic language stuff.
Yeah, and it's important to stress, this is about ethical use. It's not manipulation like stage hypnosis, more understanding how subtle language patterns influence the unconscious mind. The power of suggestion.
Okay, like what?
Well, embedding suggestions. Using phrases like, you're going to love this, or you're going to be so excited when you see the results, or you're going to feel happy.
Like planting seeds. Brunson told that story about his college roommate, right? Who'd just say, oh, you were so mad, and the person would start feeling mad.
Exactly. He realized he could do that in presentations. You're going to be so excited when you see this next part. You set an expectation, and the mind often leans into it.
It kind of primes the pump for that emotion.
It does. You gently steer their state. Another technique, this one from Darren Stevens, is using truisms. Universal statements.
What are those exactly?
Just simple, undeniable truths that almost everyone in your audience will agree with immediately. Like, isn't it fantastic being here today? Or, you were all teenagers once, right?
Or mentioning someone known, like most of you know Russell Brunson.
Right. The point is, each truism gets the unconscious mind nodding along, saying, yes, yes, that's true. It builds rapport almost effortlessly.
So you're stacking these little points of agreement subconsciously.
And once you have that agreement pattern going, they're more receptive to your main points, your suggestions, even your offer later on.
Okay, that's clever. So once rapport is built, you can use language to shape focus, this amnesia and hypermnesia concept.
Yeah, amnesia sounds dramatic, but it's just using words like forget or it might be hard to remember to help people let go of negatives. like maybe past failures or getting stuck on the initial price,
Helping them release baggage. And hypernesia.
is the opposite. Using phrases like "you're going to realize" or "you're going to know" or "imagine" to make them focus intently on the positive future outcomes, the reasons to buy.
Brunson said people would sometimes remember the suggested future more vividly the next day than the presentation details.
Exactly. You make the desired future the most memorable part, which leads right into age progression.
Which is guiding them to vividly imagine themselves in that future.
Yes. Make it real. What does it feel like to be debt-free, to fire your boss, to hit that goal? You help them mentally step into the transformation you're offering.
Makes the journey seem worth it, essential even, and time distortion, altering perceived time.
Yeah, suggesting a long webinar will go insanely fast or a multi-day event will feel pressed down. It makes the time commitment seem less daunting.
Little psychological tweaks, and future pacing.
That's linking a concept you just taught directly to their future success. Like, now that you understand funnels,
Yeah.
you have everything you need to succeed. Anchor the learning to the outcome.
Okay. Stevens apparently uses some really practical stuff in live events too, anchoring with sound and gestures.
Yeah, like consistently using a specific gesture when saying a word like awesome. Eventually, the gesture itself can evoke the feeling. Or using specific music, subtly petrol bell for learning. Maybe something energetic like yarny. It creates unconscious associations.
And fractionation, that sounds complex.
It's about acknowledging internal conflict. The part that wants something versus the part that's hesitant. Stevens uses language, sometimes gestures, to represent those conflicting parts and then helps bring them into alignment, often right before an offer.
Addressing the internal debate.
Exactly, and he often pairs it with sound or visuals, like using an emotional video or music piece. He mentions Susan Boyle to evoke gratitude.
Why gratitude?
Because it's very hard to feel fear or resistance when you're genuinely feeling grateful. It shifts the emotional state powerfully right before you ask them to consider something new.
Wow, using gratitude to disarm fear.
Yeah.
And the stack, showing value.
Crucial. Don't just list features and give a total value. Show each piece, ideally with its individual price, building the value step by step. Let the unconscious mind track and accept the value of each component. Use images for intangible things.
Makes the total value feel earned and believable. He also uses application processes, right? With deposits.
Yeah, another micro commitment. Creates scarcity too, with limited spots. And here's a smart twist. Asking for references.
Why references?
Because people usually give a trusted friend. When his team calls that friend and the friend says, yeah, that sounds like a good idea for you, it provides external validation. It helps overcome buyer's remorse or family objections later.
That's brilliant. Built-in social proof after the fact.
Yeah.
And team alignment.
Just ensuring everyone on the event team is focused on the same positive outcome for the attendees. Creates a unified energy. It all ties into his formula.
A clarity one.
Yeah. Clarity leads to certainty, which leads to confidence, which drives action, which results in success. That's the mindset he uses, even for huge decisions like turning down that $40 MR offer for a bigger vision.
Clarity, certainty, confidence, action, success. Got it. Okay, so that's a lot on persuasion and state management, but what about price? Especially premium price. Let's switch to Frank Miranda.
Right. Miranda's whole philosophy is, if you want premium prices, you have to design for it. Target clients who value quality and expect to pay for it. Don't play in the mass market price wars.
So you can't just charge more for the same thing everyone else sells. Differentiation is key.
Absolutely critical. You need to be selling something perceived as fundamentally different. Apples and pears, like you said earlier. And one way he suggests doing this is comparing your cost.
Not to competitors.
But to much more expensive things or totally different concepts, like comparing his 400 glasses not just to other glasses, but maybe to the cost of something much larger. Implicitly, it reframes your price, makes it feel smaller.
Anchoring it against something bigger?
And fractional payments.
Yeah, breaking it down. That €50 offer becomes, say, 12 payments of €80. Psychologically, much easier to commit to initially, lowers the barrier. Makes sense. And he revisits pricing the parts, similar to the stack.
Yeah, inspired by those collectible magazine things, right? D'Agostini. Break down your big offer, price each component to show the huge total value if bought separately, then offer the bundle for less, maybe highlighting some parts as gifts.
Again, demonstrating overwhelming value to justify the premium price.
Exactly. But maybe the most powerful technique for premium is quantifying the gain or saving for the client.
This is huge. Compare your price not to competitors, but to the money, time, or energy they will save or earn over time.
Right. Frame it as an investment with a clear, quantifiable return. like software replacing X hours of manual work per wink, show the cost saving over a year compared to the software price.
You shift the comparison from your cost versus theirs to your cost versus their outcome. Powerful. And the really bold move, stating the high price upfront.
As a barrier of exclusivity. Counterintuitive, but it filters for a specific clientele and screams, "This is extraordinary." Miranda loves the Admiral Byrd expedition example.
The ad that highlighted the cost, the danger, the discomfort.
Yes, it wasn't hiding the negatives. It was using them to attract a specific, elite, adventurous type who saw the challenge and cost as part of the prestige. It filtered for the right people.
Wow. Using the high barrier as the attractor. Okay, so we've got persuasion, we've got premium pricing, but keeping customers. Recurring revenue. Let's get into Robert Scrob's stuff on subscriptions.
Yeah, and Scrob kicks off by saying many subscription businesses struggle because they just copy others the cargo cult idea. They mimic tactics without understanding the why.
And his big insight is focus on the subscriber, not the stuff.
Absolutely fundamental. It's not about endlessly adding features or content. It's about deeply understanding who your subscriber is, their real needs, why they joined. He points to news media struggling online. They just put the paper online instead of figuring out what different subscribers actually needed from a digital subscription.
Like that crypto revolution example, success came not from more tools, but focusing on the high portfolio niche and their need for tax advice.
Exactly. Understanding the who and the why. Which leads to his next point, which is also kind of counterintuitive. Adding value can sometimes hurt.
Wait, adding more value increases churn? How?
If it's the wrong kind or too much too soon. He actually ran an experiment where giving new members more upfront content led to them all quitting fast.
Yeah.
They got overwhelmed.
Overload. So value isn't just more stuff.
No. Often, value is immediate gratification. Fast, tangible results, like those 7-minute guides for the Trade Idea software. Give them a quick win, solve an immediate problem.
Okay, fast value, not overwhelming archives. And he says every member contact is sales.
Every email, every login, every interaction is a chance to reinforce the value, resell them on being a member, and a key part of this is the velvet rope.
Making members feel distinct and special, like the car wash subscriptions.
Precisely. Create a clear difference between members and non-members. Think AMC Stubs' separate line. Non-members might complain, but that reinforces the feeling of exclusivity and superiority for the paying members, your actual asset.
You nurture the insiders. Even reframing cancellation as pausing or turning off auto-renew.
Yeah, avoids making it feel like a definitive breakup.
Yeah.
Keeps the door open. And always promote the end, not the beginning.
Sell the outcome, the transformation.
Yes, like that one truck away program for plumbers. They sell the dream, getting off the tools, multiple trucks, profitability, not just here are the modules.
Yeah.
Show them the future state they're buying.
Makes sense. And stratifying delivery, not by features, but by subscriber type.
Right. Create tiers based on who they are, their goals, their identity, like the U.S. Concealed Carry Association tiers based on relationship with firearms, self-defense only, gun owner, concealed carry. Each needs different things.
Tailoring to identity, not just feature bundles. Like the Ableton trainer focusing on the outcome, perfect performance, with tiers for different aspiration levels.
Exactly. And ultimately, Scrob argues the deepest value often isn't the stuff at all. It's the feeling the subscription provides. He calls it lead, don't teach.
Like Harley Davidson selling badass or Louis Vuitton selling exclusivity.
Precisely. It's about identity. So you need to ask, how does your subscription make members feel? Smarter, safer, like an insider, more productive, superior. Think Haggerty Drivers Club, MDVIP, Harvard Business Review. They all deliver a core feeling.
The feeling is the real product in many ways. And a big leak is often right at the start, the onboarding.
Huge cause of early churn. You can't dump years of content on a new member. You need a structured on-ramp focused on getting them that quick win, that fast value.
Level 1, fast value. Level 2, connection. Level 3, indispensable. Something like that.
Yeah, Performance Golf's Scratch Club focuses hard on that initial fast value. Get them a result quickly to prove they made the right choice.
It's all about delivering transformations, not just information dump, which apparently lowers ad costs too.
Because you're solving real problems, delivering tangible outcomes, which leads to better retention, higher lifetime value, better word of mouth. Like BNI reframing networking is becoming a master connector, selling the transformation, the identity.
So bringing it all together for subscriptions, it's about feelings, outcomes, and mission.
That's the glue. Scrob says the mission, the underlying purpose, is the mortar holding it all together, more than features. Think early Netflix versus Blockbuster or cut the cord. That mission created belonging.
Like the Boston Globe's for Democracy mission or Dollar Shave Club sticking it to Big Shave. A clear mission makes members feel part of something meaningful.
Exactly. It gives them a reason to belong beyond just the transaction.
Wow.
No.
Okay. We have covered a lot of ground here, from foundational persuasion and ethical influence
The power of language.
to strategies for commanding premium prices and creating that exclusivity.
And then diving deep into building subscriptions that last, focusing on members, feelings, outcomes, and mission.
It's quite a journey through these sources you brought. Remember, the whole point was to pull out these key insights, the surprising bits, the practical stuff for you.
Right. So your mission now, listening to this, is to reflect on your own business, your goals. Which of these strategies really clicked? What feels applicable right now?
And maybe think about how they connect, you know? How does that ethical influence combine with real premium value and maybe a compelling mission? How does that create something really powerful?
Yeah, it's synergistic, but it also brings responsibility, doesn't it?
Definitely. With this power to persuade and influence comes that obligation. How do you ensure you're always using these tools, these insights from the sources for good, to genuinely serve your clients and help them achieve those positive transformations?
That's the big question to chew on long after this deep dive is done.
Yeah.
How do you wield this responsibly?